There are three traps that even the most intelligent investors fall into without even realizing. And these traps don't just make you look like an amateur and lose money, they keep you time broke and frustrated. How do I know? Because even after founding HouseBuyer, the company that popularized the we buy houses model of investing, where I closed over 3,200 deals, I was still falling prey to these traps. And if you don't become aware of these traps, you'll keep wondering why you subconsciously delay when the stakes are high, how commodity class determines your social class, and why you unintentionally cause your investments to stagnate and even decline. But imagine being crystal clear on what it is you want to accomplish and knowing exactly what traps quietly destroy your chances of getting there, and then removing those traps so the option to fail doesn't even exist. In this video, I'll cover the three hidden traps, the deeper reasons why you get caught in them without even noticing, and how to avoid slipping back into these traps using millionaire models. But who am I to talk about traps and millionaires? Well, before I became a real estate millionaire, I was a struggling investor. I was working nonstop, but spinning my wheels, always scrambling for deals and stumbling through negotiations and fighting to close those few opportunities I did manage to find. My so-called passive income was anything but passive. And my time and effort produced financial rewards that were not that rewarding. And finally, the stress and self-doubt at a breaking point and my health suffering, I took a month-long sabbatical. I vowed to either quit something or create something. During that time, I made a series of breakthroughs that allowed me to create a force multiplier so powerful it created a ripple effect through my entire investing business, allowing me to uncover and do deals that seemed impossible just a few months earlier. I could now easily negotiate win-win, no money down deals that left home sellers sending me thank you letters and the local news covering my story, which filled my lead funnel to the top and left my competition wondering how I pulled it all off. I built a system that removed the chaos and made profits predictable. So I enjoyed more time off, less stress, a sense of accomplishment in a $12 million cash flowing portfolio, and a lifestyle that amazed everyone around me. But I want to be clear, there is no easy button in what I'm about to reveal over the next few minutes. Frankly, this can be challenging because these concepts will be brand new to you, as I've never spoken about them publicly until now. And this first trap is the hardest for smart investors to see in themselves: subconscious delay during tough deals. I solved this trap when I turned an elite Navy SEAL training into a wildly successful way of analyzing deals quickly to eliminate the dreaded analysis paralysis that stalls so many of us investors. Millionaire model number 7 solves the problem of subconscious delay when tough deals come our way. When I was doing underwater training exercises, holding my breath for as long as possible, the body screams for air and the subconscious mind scrambles to convince you to surface. But in reality, you can stay underwater much longer once you learn to control the impulse to bail out. When I was analyzing deals, my subconscious kept reaching for the exit button, fear of risk tempting me to bail out and head to the surface. It was right here, after that SEAL training, I wrote Millionaire Model number 7 with the SEAL right next to me. Here he is in my 1948 Buick named Betty. Turn fear signals to feel responses. Understanding that fear is a signal, not a stop sign. You can remember when the stakes are high is where the biggest opportunities lie. Using Model 7, you can switch difficult deals from an obstacle to an opportunity, allowing you to expand your investor playbook, turn pressure into profit, and create momentum. If you keep this one line in mind, it will remind you to push through that fear when analyzing tough deals. With the right things wrong, you can't go wrong. So the right things with the property, the person in the property, or the person managing the property. Fear signal is the property's ugly, there's risk. Well, it fuels the response, or you need to have it train you to fuel this response. Ugly means fixes I can exploit. All I need to do is write a check and those ugliness things go away. I created millionaire models to be stacked to give us the greatest leverage, just as savvy investors use other people's money to accelerate wealth. The truly affluent and those who adopt these models also tap into other people's experience. And it was my experience with my real estate coach that inspired me to write trap number 2. Using the wrong asset will make you poor and keep you broke. And this is where it kind of gets hard. There's some concepts that are a little like economic and time-based, and I just encourage you to hang in there because this is where true wealth is created, as you'll find out. Commodity class is based on the fact that we all use just 2 forms of commodities to pay for all the things we have and want. We pay with either our money or we pay with our time. Across every millionaire I know, there's one common thread. They treat time as their most precious asset and spend money to buy back that time. The wealthy use their least valuable commodity whenever possible, their money, so they can protect their most valuable commodity, their time. Contrast that to the poor and those with the poor mindset who always use their time, so they never have the time to make real money or to build real wealth or to invest in themselves. To keep from stepping in the trap of using the wrong asset, always look to invest for a return in time, because commodity class determines your social class. When we can buy a result that returns us time, we'll profit every time. And having that on paper makes you aware. And you can ask yourself, which asset am I using throughout the day, throughout the week, when you make big decisions? So you've seen twice right here where I use commodity class. I hired coaches with my least valuable commodity, my money, for proven shortcuts to fast track my progress, sparing me the blood, sweat, and tears of my time. Without coaching, I'd waste my time groping in the dark for answers, trying to figure it all out on my own. And not to be outdone by a Navy SEAL, here is my mentor in Betty with my daughter Grace. And because you are taking investing seriously, you may let this last trap trick you into thinking it's not a trap. Planted right where you'd least expect it. I see well-intentioned, ambitious investors stumble into this trap without even noticing. It's called inefficient investing, expecting meaningful improvements. And how this works is when we slip into the trap of low-level content, hoping for a return on that investment, but it just never lives up to our expectations. You may be right now unintentionally causing the low-level content trap to spring and catch you in it, because good intentions do not always deliver good results. And here is the low-level content quality pyramid. And it shows the hierarchy of the forms of content available for us to study and learn our craft. And research confirms the productivity illusion paradox is a popular trap for ambitious investors because the investments in our education do not correspond to the expected increases in our skills, profit, and productivity. Despite consuming large amount of low-level content, our productivity stagnates and even declines, driven by excessive busyness with the content instead of practicing our craft. So reading a bunch of books instead of doing the deals, or negotiating with sellers, and managing multiple theories from multiple sources. The time needed to wade through all that low-level content, especially if we consume it while multitasking. Contrast the results of low-level content with the study at Metrics Global on return on investment from coaching. It said coaching delivers an average of 788% ROI. That's nearly $8 returned or earned for every $1 spent, while the best-selling self-help books barely move the needle. Comparing low-level content to coaching, it says 1 hour with a coach equals the learning you get from a 10-hour plus podcast. Plus, that 1 hour coaching leaves you with a personalized, clear, revenue-focused action plan that's personalized to you. Investors who keep buying books end up in the productivity illusion paradox. They feel busy, but see no real gains, whereas coached investors report a 70% tangible performance increase. These data points illustrate that the quality of the coaching trumps sheer quantity of low-level content, books, podcasts, courses, and research confirms the productivity paradox of low-level content causes confusion, frustration, and overwhelm that produces little to no positive effect in our businesses or investment gains. And during a recent talk, my business mentor, who's coached the biggest names and built 2 8-figure companies, compared the impact and the value of courses versus a community group versus coaching. He said, "In my experience, making millions, nothing gets people as good of results or as fast as one-to-one consulting does. It's the best thing for the client. By replacing passive consumption with high-level guided accountability, you can eliminate trap number 3 and compress your learning curve and maximize your ROI with the human interaction of a coach, where the revenue generating steps are almost immediate and the advice is tailor fit to your current situation. Based on all my experiences with coaching, I've come to believe that real life is what makes real life change. So the real human interaction is in real time, makes what you need happen, makes real life change, the change you need to happen in your life. If you feel like the investment in your current content is underperforming, consider this. I've fixed a ton of property, but some of the most important, valuable improvements I've been making are in investors' lives and businesses. And how I'm doing that is with my one-to-one coaching program that gives you direct access to me and my entire business system. So get my help, my personal help for anything you need, when you need it, by clicking the link in the description.